Right, hey guys, we are live here with CTL Season 9 Semifinals, ALLIN versus Relentless Heroes. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. Let's just kind of go. Actually, we should look at the bracket. There we go.
Yeah.
So, first match of today would be Canary versus originally Stefano, but he didn't message Canary, so then he was subbed out for Gladius Real, who also didn't message Canary, so Canary wins.
Okay.
So let's get that one out of the way first. Then Detner goes up against Jester, a different Jester.
I was gonna say.
You are not a Gold Zerg, you are a Platinum Terran. Far
Yeah.
superior. And then we have Fruit Potato up against Cypher, a TVZ. We have Mr. Lando against Dark Blue, a TVP. We have Acadian versus Minfo, a PVT. We have Einheya versus Rave, a ZVP. Vale versus Lazy Probes, a PVT. Fu Manchu versus Drinky, a TVZ. And me versus Barcode, a ZVZ.
Okay.
So let's jump right into it, I guess. Starting off with set 2, because we got a walkover.
It was an epic match for the ages.
Oh, it would have been. It would have been on Secret Spring.
Aww,
So-
which means I'm never gonna see this map again.
Uh,
We're getting to that point where I'm never gonna see it again.
I mean, we'll see it for the finals, or third, fourth place, or whatever. But yeah, that's it. That was Secret Spring for this week, guys. There is no more Secret Spring for this week. So pop over to StarCraft for set 2. So, Jester, how did this game go for you?
Well,
Yeah.
I woke up and decided to spell my name like a 12-year-old.
Right,
Where's that
Jester. Well,
Was that too mean? I'm sorry if that was too mean, but
it's
it's the mixed caps, lower caps thing is something that was like
a regrettable
2000s.
teenager mistake.
It's a 2000s era thing, which has, according to current time, come and gone. But starting in the top left position, because I do know my right from my left, it is not me, it is some other jester. And starting in the bottom left, getting the vertical spawns, we have Detner.
Oh yes, have the 1-0 lead. Players not being able to send a message. Perfect.
Communication.
Yeah, and Detner is sending out a very early probe. Actually, looks like he's going to get a pylon on the low ground here.
We're gonna see a cannon rush, or probably a Nexus first.
Yeah. Either is a possibility. This map might lend itself a little bit more to the Nexus first, just because of that RNG with the spawns. And Jester is sending a drone out, seeing what's up. Gonna scout incorrectly with the drone, but correctly with the Overlord, so that's nice for him.
Yeah, I was thinking it was kind of like sending a probe or a SCV, and it's like, oh, that drone is unfortunate. It got the unlucky scout.
Is it going to be a forge? I think it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Alright,
wow.
so potential for cannon rush for Detner here if he scouts correctly. But it's also nicely timed for safety.
Yep. However, other jester is going pool first, and Detner is unfortunately going to get the long way around. Scout.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But I think upon seeing this Overlord, assuming the Overlord continues going through Detner's base, he'll realize what's up.
Looking to see. Oh, yes, the Overlord does pop into view, so if Detner was paying attention for the 2 seconds, there was a little red blob, then they would know to scout north. But it looks like the probe is just continuing its long day's journey in tonight.
It's not the end of the world, to be honest. I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate, but not much that Detner can do about it, and Jester has chosen to opt for a fast gas after this spawning pool into hatchery, which I'd argue isn't necessarily a requirement against a forge opener, but some players like to have that comfort zone of having a few speedlings out on the map to give control.
Oh, interesting. The probe blocking doesn't stop the drone from leaving.
No, if your mineral walks out, then he can just sail on out quite happily.
Huh.
I mean, you could walk through a zealot if you wanted to, but that's not necessarily a bright idea.
Might walk through a zealot blade.
And Jester is actually going to attempt to take the aggressive third base here as well with that probe or drone. So, going to be vulnerable to any kind of two-base timings that Detner might choose to do on this map. But if Detner chooses to play a longer game, then maybe this will pay off for him.
Yeah, it's interesting choice for a third. Although I wonder if, well, kind of either third is probably, at least in these spawns, probably baiting for the Protoss and just asking for them to throw down a few extra gateways or some kind of early robo or something.
Yeah, so we have the double gas going down now for Detner, so it's not going to be some kind of crazy 1 gas, 7 gate, massive timing. So Jester can breathe a sigh of relief then, but he's actually getting Zergling speed and continuing to mine gas here, so this is pretty unusual here. This is maybe like a ZVT style amount of gas, but with this very fast third base and low queen count. He actually only has 1 queen, I believe. Yeah.
Oh.
I'd like to see 2 or 3 queens there, because this amount of gas, I mean, Jester hasn't got a use for it now.
Although the probe is sticking around, I wonder if it's going to proxy a Twilight or something. Or maybe the pylon is just there for vision, because it is in a nice spot, and it might see lings running by.
They are running by, actually. How many lings are there out on the map right now? We have 9 lings out on the map, so this is enough for Jester to get some kind of pressure done here, maybe. If there wasn't a cannon in the wall off, I suppose. And actually, Detner's putting Chrono Boost into this Cybernetic score. And his +1 attack, so I think he wants us to hit a +1 from maybe 7 or 8 gateways here.
Yep, 3 additional gates have already gone down. I mean, these lings are sticking around up the front, but it's going to be hard to get past this wall.
Yeah, these lings don't really have that much of a purpose besides trying to stop a probe getting out onto the map and building a proxy pylon, and there's even more lings coming out actually. I'm not really sure why Jester is feeling the need to go up to 21 Zerglings right now. They don't really have that much of a purpose, to be honest. I mean, they're going to try and break in here, but I'm seeing the cannon and the wall off. Maybe not, but no, they are going to try and... No, cannon's still there, it wasn't a hallucination, and Detner's thinking, hang on a minute, what are you doing with those lings? And he's going to fortify himself with a few more cannons here just to make sure nothing silly happens before his timing hits, but he's already got this forward pylon up. He's happy. I'd like to see him maybe put down a few more pylons just in case this one gets found, but I mean, apart from that, he's set up well for this game.
We are going up to 7 gates? 7 gates.
Mm-hmm.
On 6 of those are on 1 pylon.
I mean, that's fine.
It's a brave little pylon.
Yeah, so many
It
casters have made this pylon. Jester is now going up to 6 gases and a spire whilst researching burrow and 1-1 range.
So
Getting a lot of mixed messages from Jester here, whilst being on 37 drones actually. And I don't think Jester has even identified that this attack is coming. No?
there's just so many
Blissfully
so
unaware.
many jokes that I could make, but in the interest of politeness. Because I was going to do a whole bit about, you know, sometimes when I wake up in the morning and haven't had a good cup of Starbucks yet, I just decide to play Zerg, and then, you know, my Zerg is obviously Gold League, and
What does Jester have in the way of units? I mean, he is getting these reinforcing pylons, but there's a probe in his natural building pylons, and he can be building extra pylons here as well. I think Jester's just going to try and spam Zerglings until his Spire finishes, but even with the Spire finishing, he has enough gas for 9 Mutas, but he doesn't have the minerals for any Mutas, because he's spent it all on Zerglings.
And 1-1 is only just about to finish.
But he doesn't have any roaches, though. His queen is 1-1. I'm not quite sure what Jester was trying to achieve this game, but Detner for sure had a very solid game plan here. And I think he's just going to continue the march upwards.
There's a random spore crawler next to the ridge horn.
Probs G.
Probs G? Huh. That was a very interesting game. Probs G.
Alright, Probs G. Detner
Is that what I should start saying now? At the end of every game? Probs G?
When you become the Gold League Zerg Bro, I guess Probs G is what you want to be saying. So that gives ALLIN a 2-0 lead now over Relentless Heroes. So let's go into set 3, which will be a Platinum Terran vs Zerg on Vani Research Station. So right on into that.
Now this map is coming back next season, right?
It is.
Okay. So I can only be mildly disappointed at the loss of Secret Spring.
Yeah, we're losing Overgrowth, Catalina, Deadwing, and Secret Spring, and we are gaining Echo, Coda, Cactus Valley, and Iron Fortress. Vani, Expedition Lost, and Inferno Pools for whatever reason.
Why does everybody hate Inferno Pools, other than you have to scout?
You have to spawn close as well.
Alright, well, starting in the top position of Vani Research Station, it is Fruit Potato. And while our players are spreading the love, spawning in the bottom, we have Cypher.
Yeah, Cypher seems very happy. Which is always nice. He's playing the best game ever. Playing against the best team ever. I mean, how could you not be happy?
Just spam hearts in chat.
Exactly, I mean, what's not to love? He's picked purple. It's a very nice colour for Zerg, especially as he used the nice mod here.
I do like the additional colors. It's very pretty.
Maybe Legacy of the Void will give us the technology to, you know, have extra colours. Maybe
pick our own color.
Maybe sliders. I mean, that was in Microsoft Paint in '95, but maybe the technology might just not be here yet. I'm not sure. Fruit Potato just going for a CC first, actually.
Very interesting choice. I mean, it's something that you can certainly do on this map. It's not something I don't think I've ever done CC first on this map, except maybe like when I first saw it and saw a free natural. But I know personally on this map I prefer 3 Reapers or anything to get to Hellbats faster.
And Cypher has actually opened up with a 14 gas, 14 pool. And then replied with the "Oh, you're not Zerg" rip.
Uh-oh.
So, that is unfortunate. Yeah, I know originally we were having TB Ham in this set, but he had to sub himself out. So, I mean, Cypher still can get a lot done with Zergling speed, and to be honest, this isn't game over anyway by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, this has been something that Snoop's been doing on his stream against Terrans for a while now on some more Reaper-friendly maps, and we all know that Canary loves his Reapers on this map, so having really fast Zergling speed is quite nice, but it is going to be against the CC first, so that's unfortunate.
Now this should be, yep, speed does start. It still can get a lot of damage done, and I mean, these depots aren't exactly a planetary fortress, so you can get in them if, you know, there's not a bunker built or you're not paying attention, you can't get to repair on time, but I mean, at least you do have the walls, so it's not like you built the barracks by the command center or anything that would just kind of roll out the welcome mat.
Yep, that was the theme for last week and the previous week, I believe, so thankfully Fruit Potato has not chose to do that this week as well. Has completed his wall off, and will be building the first marine of the game. So meanwhile, in Camp Cypher, he's just gone back into his more traditional gasless opening, just grabbing the ling speed, getting a few lings for a bit of map control, probably grabbing the watchtower, just in case any delayed Reaper comes, maybe. Having a few lings outside the front just to see when Fruit Potato wants to move out as well, stuff like that.
Do you think that, right, yes, Cypher realized that he was playing a Terran a bit late, but do you think maybe if he had committed a little more to the Zerglings and just kind of saw what happens, do you think, as a Zerg player yourself and as somebody who's also played Terran, do you think it'd be kind of worth the risk to just kind of wing it like that? Or not so much, and now we're trying to kind of back out and expand safely and go into a more normal game?
I think I like how Cypher's played this out with the fast third base and not committing overly to the speedlings. You can pressure in to this kind of base setup, but you can still defend most, if not all, one base Zerg cheeses with a CC first. So, I like how Cypher's played it out.
What if that CC first had been on the low ground here?
Then Fruit Potato was asking to be like drone pulled or something. I don't know what you're doing putting the CC on the low ground, but yeah. He's actually playing, Fruit Potato is playing very safe, dropping the double scan here, making sure that nothing crazy is coming, seeing, oh okay, you've only just put back in gas, okay, I can be safe, and throws down the third CC of his own in response to what he sees, so that's nice.
These wings are going to continue to kind of poke up and be annoying. Actually, I think this is another one of those CC spots on Vonnie Research Station that I think I've tried and failed to squeeze in before. And now I'm learning that yes, it is actually possible.
Yeah, there is enough room just barely to fit a CC back there. Hatchery as well if you're Zerg. You probably wouldn't put a Nexus there, unless it's in your opponent's base as a VM move or something. So Fruit Potato actually started to shoot his own Marine here, as he... This is an interesting low ground wall off here.
This is really safe. Like, paranoid safe.
Yeah, I haven't seen this kind of a wall off in a long time, to be honest. Fair play though, I mean, he's against a Zerg, and he has to play a little bit safer because he saw the fast ling speed, and actually Cypher is going for quite a large amount of lings here, so he could put on some pressure with some banelings, maybe.
Maybe, but that's going to be a lot of banelings that you burn on this bust.
Yeah, actually, you would need 10 banelings just to get through the wall, so that's 250 gas, maybe better invested into 1-1, which we do see the evos for Cypher are going down as well. I'd like to see those from Fruit Potato come up soon as well. Maybe those were a little bit late. Unless he's going into mech, but I guess we do see Stim.
We do see the eBays going down. I think ideally you would want to have your second and third barracks up by now, and Fruit Potato is still on kind of 1-1-1, although we do have a Viking going around looking for overlords.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. Admittedly, it's managed to dodge all of the overlords so far, but it is rallied around the map looking for these overlords, so it will find a couple.
And the Hellions are kind of poking around, acting more like they're searching for proxy pylons. They're going to run into a wing, but there are some lings and banelings on the map.
Yeah, I think Cypher, Fruit Potato rather, he knows these lings are somewhere, he's looking for them. Cypher will reveal them. But I think Fruit Potato can handle this with some good control.
Definitely, and yep, the Viking did find an overlord. So we're going to play cat and mouse with the watchtower for a little bit.
Yeah, behind this, both players are just getting their infrastructure set up. Cypher will be the one to put on the next wave of pressure when his Spire finishes. He'll have around 6 to 8 meters to play around with for the next few minutes or so. While Fruit Potato attempts to set up his infrastructure and his third base. So everything lifting and landing in Fruit Potato's main, rearranging things. Hopefully he flies his third out soon and starts to spend some of that mineral bank on a few more barracks and some turrets.
Yep. And the third CC is lifted up. There it goes. It's chugging along. I like that the Hellions are still out on the map, just patrolling, although it will be time to kind of take them home and maybe keep them for Hellbats, unless they get surrounded by a wave of purple.
Gotta keep these guys alive, I think. Like you said, they are... Maybe in olden times you would just try and throw these away and trade them, but I do like keeping them alive for Hellbats. They make that creep clearing push so much more devastating. Not that there is any creep to clear.
Oh, that's true.
Are
there any
No.
creep tumor?
None. Absolutely none. Which I would say is a huge mistake from Cypher's part. That will make any pressure from Fruit Potato very easy to put on. But you gotta keep these Hellions alive. No!
And the mutas are out, and they're just gonna kind of give chase the whole way home. And there's just... When your Hellions get caught out by the mutas, it's just kind of sad. It's depressing. It's like, please, please go away. Stop following me.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, Fruit Potato is setting up his third quite nicely. He's got a few Marines coming out. He's just setting up the remaining things. Need a few more barracks to come down at some point, and some turrets in the natural, maybe.
He's got one turret in 2 bases. Third is about halfway done. I think you want, ideally, 2 or 3 turrets per mineral line to deal with the mutas properly. Otherwise, they will come in and just be really annoying.
Especially on this map. Pressure into this natural is so annoying to deal with. Just any kind of pressure. Niduses, Warp Prism, drops, Muses, Banshees, anything is really annoying. Naturally, Cypher's rallying his own Muses back there anyway, just in case of a drop from Fruit Potato. And he is actually moving out with one.
Yep, got a nice little 2 medevac drop, although these Lings are holding the watchtower, and I think they will just barely... No, they don't see it, but the mutas are going back out now, so they will probably run into this soon. Uh-oh, we might have some free banelings. Or... Oh!
Oh, that Widow Mine. That was a lot of Zerglings for that Widow Mine. I think Fruit Potato can be happy with that one as long as he gets his units out alive.
Yeah, one medevac went down almost for free. And it looks like the other one might be overtaken as well, but the mutas are actually going to dive onto the Marine ball over here. And... Oh! Banelings are cleaned up, which is good, and they can now push the mutas back.
Yeah, I think Fruit Potato can be pretty happy with that trade as long as he... I think I've said this 3 times now, there we go, sets up a few more racks and starts to get that production rolling, because he was floating a lot of money here, but we do have the 4th CC going down, and another 4 barracks in the natural. Maybe a few more turrets in here just to cover this, but I guess there'll be Thors pumping out of this factory anyway, so maybe he can skimp on a few turrets there. And Cypher, he's feeling pretty comfortable as well. Getting a lot of tech going. +2 on his Muses, Overlord Speed, Burrow, Infestation Pit.
Oh, Burrow is one of those upgrades that you just kind of hope that the Zerg doesn't make.
Yeah, it's so good.
Because once you find out it's in play, it's like, oh, okay.
Time to build a Raven.
Yeah. Or no more mules. Although I don't know if I would run into that many Banelings with just those Marines, and almost all the Widow Mines have already detonated.
Oh, and the last one on the Overseer as well. Fruit Potato has got to get out here. Meanwhile, during all of this, Mutas were ravaging the production of Fruit Potato, getting a few SCV kills on those barracks. So, Fruit Potato needs to relocate himself here, I think. Just reorganize himself, make sure his natural is fully defended, and also needs to hold off his pressure at the front. Does he have any Widow Mines alive? He has 2. Oh dear.
Oh no. And they're in the natural, defending against mutas. And, oh, the third is under fire, and the Banelings got a little bit of the welcome mat treatment, but they will ultimately be cleaned up a little bit, somewhat. Alright, this bunker. No! There's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done, and now the Lings and Banelings are free to just stream in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Fruit Potato is going to be cleaning up with Cypher here. I think Cypher's going to be the one doing cleanup duty. Oh no, this is a massacre.
That's a lot of purple on the wrong side of the base.
This is true. GG, well played. As Cypher will take the first map for Relentless Heroes. Putting it at 2-1. So the next map would be Mr. Lando versus Dark Blue, but Dark Blue's schedule was pretty tight, and Lando, when he did manage to get a time to play, he got food poisoning, so that's unfortunate for him. Hopefully you're better now, Lando, as I see you in chat. But I honestly, I actually don't know whether it is a walkover for Dark Blue. I think it is. I would assume it is.
Okay.
So let's just go straight into set 5, which will be another PVT. Or, well, assuming we watch set 4. Will be Gold League, so Acadian versus Mimfo.
And the map is... Oh, it's Catalina.
Yep. Right, let's load up into there.
Catalina was the other one you said was being cycled out.
Yeah, all of the old maps are going out.
Okay.
So,
That's fine. It's
yeah.
It's stayed its length, you know, it's not been in too long or doesn't go out in one season. It's stayed a healthy, respectable length. But to start in the bottom right, we have Minfo, and in the top, we have Acadian. I almost have, are any of the new maps 3-player maps? I do like that we have at least,
No.
we've had at least one.
None of them are 3-player maps.
Aww. I hope they come back, or at least 3-player maps come back.
Yeah. So, we know Acadian likes his very heavy Oracle play versus Terrans, so I wonder if we're going to be seeing that come out again from him.
And there are about infinite proxy Oracle possibilities, and you might not find them all in time.
But I think I remember Minfo getting Platinum League on Europe sometime during this week, so he's certainly qualified to be able to handle someone like Acadian, who is ex-Platinum himself, so should be a pretty close match, I believe.
Okay. We have the 12 Rex going down from info. We should be seeing the gas being taken right nowish, and no gases being taken quite yet for Acadian. So far, just the gateway.
Yeah, it looks like he'll go double 15 gas here. Maybe just the 115 gas and be economical and take a pretty nice Nexus timing off of this. Yeah, that looks to be the case here.
But the probe will actually get the first scout, and Minfo has not scouted yet, so he'll most likely be waiting for the Reaper.
Yeah, some people like to send out the SCV like Ninkazi did last week on this map and try and get that E-Way block as well, but it's not essential, it's just more of a stylistic thing of whether you're completely terrified of a 2-base Protoss or not, so... like Minfo doesn't really care.
Really want to annoy them.
That's true. So Acadian does get a nice scout off. He sees, oh, okay, you've gone Reaper, there's no shenanigans. Just decides he's happy with that, and actually he keeps the probe out on the map, so maybe a follow-up scout or a proxy is in store.
Yep, it's queued up to go over by where this base is off to the side. And I think this probe is going to do something devious, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, stereotypes come from somewhere, right?
Warp, we also see that Warp Gate has not started yet, although the mothership core is queued up, which could be where the gas is going.
I imagine it'll be a Stalker next, and then into the Warp Gate afterwards, if I had to guess. But we might see a pretty fast Stargate as well.
Meanwhile, Minfo has opted for the factory instead of the 2 additional Raxes, and looks like the probe was just being saved to kind of get another scout off.
So seeing the factory from Minfo, Acadian is very happy with his own choice of the Robo as his first bit of tech. So I wonder, I think Minfo has seen this actually. He did see the Robo, so I wonder if he will opt to not go for a mine drop here.
I think it's always worth it to try.
Even with the Observer, you reckon?
Yeah, because sometimes they forget and send the Observer across the map. It also keeps the Observer at home, which is vision that they're not getting into what you're doing.
That's true. And it looks like it won't be a drop. I mean, there's a barracks queued up instead of the starport from Info.
Interesting. Maybe it'll be some kind of little push at the front to maybe force overcharge or get some probe kills.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure what Minfo's game plan is going to be here, because we don't even see a tech lab come down for the barracks to swap onto for Stim, maybe, so I think we're just going to have to wait and see.
There's a lot of gas banked up as well, and there are some Marines, like they would be, in the base, like they would be searching for maybe a warp prism or a oracle or something, but they're not in or near the mineral line, so if a Stargate were to theoretically come in, then they could just fly right by the Marines.
Meanwhile, in Camp Acadian, he's going straight up to Colossus Tech off of the 1 gate, so pretty greedy here. He's not feeling the pressure to go up to 3 or maybe 4 gates before that. And this Reaper is actually getting quite a lot of work done because of that, because Acadian's just teching off of the 1 Stalker, so a few probes there from Info, and the Reaper does get out with, of course, 1 to 2 health. So, standard annoying Reapers there.
It has seen some things.
Yeah, some nice control by Minfo. Maybe this is the delayed mine drop.
Maybe? Minfo is also playing awfully scared. We've got the bunker, the turret, and the widow mine at the front. That almost seems more like something you'd use to defend against DTs.
Yeah, he's a faster player than me as well, which is impressive. Well, actually it's not that impressive, because I'm not very fast. But yeah, you know what I mean.
Huh. And we still don't have stim or combat shields or concussive shells queued up, so there's not going to be any really heavily upgraded push. Stim now just starts, which means that it's going to be really late when it comes, and with Colossus already on the way and Thermal Lance, it's going to make it hard to kind of push into the Protoss. You might have to opt for drops to kind of buy some time.
Well, he does have a medevac queued up, but there's no reactor on this starport, so it's just going to be the 1 medevac for the time being. He might lift up and stick it on the reactor for this factory, but he might actually keep it there and continue the Widow Mine production as well. He loads up the first Widow Mine drop. Yeah, he is. Wow.
If at first your mine drop doesn't succeed, try again. And maybe it's a little mind game-ish, but at this point, if the Protoss player hasn't seen the mine drop actually come in, they might feel like there's no reason to keep the Observer at home, especially in Acadian's case. You're going straight to Colossus, so you don't want to be constantly building Observers. And actually, there's only 1 Observer at the map, and it's not in either of the mineral lines, so this mine drop could go in, plant itself, and still get some damage done if Acadian doesn't react in time.
And the reaction time is... oh no, 10 probes going down. I think if you see the mines have already started burrowing, it's better to actually leave the probes mining, because if you pull the probes away like that, then they start bunching up, and that's where the real damage comes. Actually, a photon overcharge is popped here to kill this Widow Mine off. I think it will be killed before the... before it goes off again. But there's still another mine that's going to be dropped in the natural here, and Acadian's on the ball for this one by the looks of it. Maybe?
It's going to get a hit off before the cannon finishes.
Yeah.
4 more probes.
And yes, that is only 4 probes. But if Acadian had ran there a little bit too late, then that could have gone up as well. So I do think that if... ideally, you see the mines coming sooner, but if you see them late, I think it's better to leave. And 4 more mines being loaded up here.
Alright, so we are gonna keep the drops coming.
Like you said, if at first you don't succeed, try again, but you kind of did succeed, so...
Round 2.
Yeah, Acadian's actually... his minerals are hurting pretty hard here because he's had to replace a lot of these probes, so... Hopefully from Acadian we see some way of him spending that gas soon, maybe a Templar Archives or something like that.
Acadian is also quite supply blocked, and that's going to hurt getting another observer out, even if it's to stay at home with the Nexuses and not to go with the army. But 4 more mines are about to drop. There are cannons now, so not all of these mines will live.
But they will get shots off. Oh, the medevac as well.
And take the medevac with them.
Yeah, so even though that was 4 Widow mines, they only got 7 probes there. So if the probes stay mining and you see them late, it's best just to leave them mining like that. So even so, Acadian doesn't want to be losing this many probes. This is 25 probes killed by 6 Widow mines and a medevac so far. Good work done by Minfo.
And that's a lot of marauders with this army. And a lot of medevacs with quite a bit of energy as well.
Yeah, Acadian is really going to need to get Storm, I think. ASAP.
Minfo is kind of burning scans unnecessarily to search for an observer, but I think it's better to kind of look for the little glimmer that the observer is nearby. Plus, you just mind drop them twice. Those observers are not going to be on your side of the map.
You can also do like zoom ins and zoom outs or little rotates just to try and spot the glimmer. If you can't see them normally, like any normal human being can't really see them. Well, it's only like Tasia.
Oh yeah, the 27 observers or something that he got in one game.
Yeah. So Minfo has macroed up an enormous army here. And I think Acadian can handle this if he had Storm out, but his Storm is going to be delayed here. He's not actually even researching Storm. Will prove to be a problem.
What's interesting is that it's... Yes, there's... Acadian lost a lot of probes, but he's still got 55 out. And, yeah, the army has taken a hit in size, but there's 3 bases now. There is some chrono available. And, you know, with feedback salt on the medevacs, there could still be quite a bit of damage done. It does look like there is a double drop, but there is an observer here to spot it. And this army is just kind of sitting in the map, and yeah, Widowmine drops do a lot of damage, but if you don't follow up and get more damage done, the Protoss cannon will catch up, or they will just mass cannons in their base, and you'll never be allowed to drop again.
Very nice drop defense there by Acadian with those High Templar, but... oh no, his Storm isn't finished yet. If Storm was finished, he could handle this army quite nicely, I think. Oh, this is going to do a lot of damage. I think Acadian's third might be forfeit here.
And Acadian, rather than waiting for Storm to finish, morphed 2 Archons.
I think... yeah, that's a tough call to make, but I think ideally you just have to sack the third and wait for Storm.
Yeah,
try and keep those Templar alive.
I think the 4 Storms, maybe more, because I think a couple of those Templar had quite a bit of energy. Would have done a lot more than 2 Archons and 2 Colossi, because now you're really going to rely on any... actually there aren't any sentries. You know, Force Field, Nexus Cannon, and then your AoE, but now this is a really large bio army that can just kind of camp outside the Protoss natural and prevent them from expanding.
Info making the right choice, just going home here. He doesn't need to commit and up this ramp right now. He can just go home, max out, and come back, to be honest. Roaming around the map with this squad of marauders, seeing what's up. Looking for bases.
Ghost Academy is out, and it is researching Cloak. This is the extent of Acadian's army, and the 2-2 about halfway done. No, not with the Templar out. I wouldn't take this fight now. It's like you might have been able to kind of get enough concave with massive fireball versus not much Protoss army, but the Storm out and all those Archons now.
It's
Wouldn't
tricky.
risk it. It's always difficult to kind of judge, going up against a Protoss that's camping on two bases like this. Although, suiciding an army in like that, that died for free.
The real damage is being done at the third dome. Info's happy to lose 20 supply to get a guaranteed kill on this third. Run this army home.
Yep.
Oh, he's actually going to go for the fight here, getting a nice flank from the bottom as well. The Vikings coming in as well. That one Colossus is going to get focused down so quickly here. Cadian's cleaning up the top flank, and the bottom flank is actually going to get a nice storm off there as well. A second nice storm, but Charge hasn't actually finished yet, so these Zealots are running in, getting slowed by the Marauders, and not getting so much done, but Acadian might come out okay as the Archon morphs in and some more Zealots come down. Looks like Acadian's gonna maybe clean this up.
Yeah, Terran Army is going to be forced back. Charge almost done, and +2 weapons just finishing up. Minfo is staying on top of their upgrades, but I think maybe with a little better concave, that fight might have gone better, but Minfo is really balled up on both sides, and that definitely allowed the splash damage from the Protoss to kind of reign supreme, and these charge slots are now going to run in and force a liftoff on this orbital at a minimum, and then it's going to be a lot of mules that die for free.
That is unfortunate for Minfo, but Minfo's upgrades are fantastic. He's got 2-2, he's got +1 on his air as well, he's getting 3-3 out. Meanwhile, Acadian, he hasn't got as many going for him. He hasn't actually had the free gas mining. Actually, he's not fully mining gas in his main, which might be a remnant from those mine drops earlier, so maybe that's where his lack of gas is this game. Actually, yeah, he's missing basically a whole gas geyser's worth of mining, so that's a pretty big blunder by Acadian there.
Have another skirmish at this third, as Acadian's got to defend this and get it up if he wants to reign, but this is a Charge Lot Archon Templar ball, and this can be difficult to attack into. And storms go down, that's a lot of red health and not as much energy to go around.
Yeah, Minfo is stimming very heavily. I mean, his army supply and worker supply is absolutely massive. His macro is on point, actually. Acadian, this is not looking good for you, sir.
Yeah, there's just a steady stream of bios coming across the map.
I could macro this good when I played Terran last.
Ooh, nice mine hits.
I think Acadian will survive this, but as soon as the first ghosts start entering the field for Minfo, this is going to turn around pretty rapidly, and those Widow Mines get a second shot off as well, detonating on most of the gateway forces of Acadian. There's only a few Archons left here, and I think those can be cleaned up with a bit of focus fire.
Yeah. There's more than enough Terran on the way, even if you just kind of pause to regroup. Oh, this probe transfer is coming at the wrong time.
Yeah. 200 supply versus the 50, and Acadian will call GG. Giving Relentless Heroes a 3-2 lead going into set 6.
So they're closing the gap. This is Minfo and Acadian.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I didn't actually click a button. It just kind of decided to go into the same lobby again.
Awkward.
Lando is saying, why is there an RH and an XRHX? There's also an XRH. It's sort of like a Yo-Dog, how can I hold all these clan members thing.
Oh, one of those where they hit the limit, maybe?
The what?
The in-game BattleNet limit.
Oh yeah, the arbitrary 100 limit has taken over. Your cam has stopped doing anything, by the way.
Has it? Really?
It's not that bad of a paused image. It's not one you'd regret seeing screenshotted. You just look mildly grumpy.
Huh. Odd. What happens if I kill the video and restart it? it's saying my internet connection sucks. Well, that sucks. I'm not good, but see, BattleNet's working. Everything else is fine, so I'm not panicking.
Okay, well, let's just go into the next game. Doesn't really matter.
Huh.
Oh, there you
Alright,
are.
looks like I'm back. Well.
Alright, so this is set 6, Einherjar and Rave going at it on Expedition Lost. It will be a ZVP.
Ooh.
For once, Einherjar didn't get a walkover.
Aww. Can I say Immortal Sentry? Maybe? But to start, we have in the bottom left corner, it is Rave, not to be confused with the giant massive techno music. And spawning in the top right, it is Einherjar.
I don't think Rave is spawning in the bottom left of the map. I'm just throwing that one out there.
Can I?
If you want to rectify this intro to maybe the 11:30 hard portion of the map, maybe?
Huh. Whatever. Can't tell my right from my left.
There's another probe going out as well.
Is it going to cannon rush the third?
I think this probe was sent out years too early to maybe try and...
Nope. What? Alright, so we have a 2 pylon opener.
Okay, the only logical thing that I can say from this is there is a build that I believe Crank does occasionally, which is a cannon rush with 1 proxy gateway.
That, or... Well, the gateway's going down, so maybe Rave is expecting the Overlord to see the pylon and maybe assume that there's some kind of Nexus first shenaniganry going on, and that they're not going to...
He's putting the forge down, so then it looks relatively normal to the untrained eye.
But if it was forged first, wouldn't the forge be closer to done, or already done by now?
Potentially. I honestly don't know the clock timings of a 13 forge, is the standard forge timing. This obviously isn't quite a 13 forge, this is a pylon gateway into forge of 13. But yeah, this is that kind of, I believe it's Crank who does this cheese anyway, so first Zealot is being chrono boosted out, and this probe is looking way too suspicious. You can kind of tell, if you played team games, you know what a suspicious probe looks like. Like, hey look, I'm scouting, look at me, I'm scouting, pylons. Go on. No?
Where are the pylons?
Maybe he was just scouting. Okay.
Oh, guilty before proven innocent.
I mean, hey, he's obviously doing something here, as Einslings depart the premises and they're looking around.
Do they
Ein
not
is being
have
safe.
fair trials where you are?
No comment. So
This
yeah,
probe.
Ein has sniffed out. He knows exactly what's going on. He's seen the forge and he's seen the gateway now. So Ein just needs to react correctly. So he's opting for these Zerglings. He's got a spine crawler going down in his main, and he isn't mining from the gas. I think this is pretty good so far. If he can snipe off this probe, he is very happy.
Then, oh, 2 cannons go down, and all these Zerglings die.
The
Although
probe
the probe
dies
is dead.
first. So I think that Ein is relatively happy with this, as long as he can get enough lings out to hold this. I mean, if he holds here, he has 3 extra workers and an extra base on Rave. To be honest, Rave could be expanding and building probes back at home, but he is horrendously tunnel visioned on this piece, and is floating 800 minerals. So, Ein is going to stomp this. This isn't going to be even close. Yeah, Rave has just
Right?
given up.
Very nice hold. And now the Cyber Core is going down. I'm assuming with all this money, there's enough to throw down for Nexus. But yeah, Ein held this very well.
Uh, why isn't Rave putting a Nexus? Or gas geysers? Uh, I'm very
Huh.
confused.
And the Cyber Core stuff needs gas. Like
Yeah,
you want another ship core, or a stalker, or warp
Warpgate.
gate,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
anything, anytime soon other than cannons and zealots and the only gateway and the pylon are going to die.
Mm. And Ein sees the Nexus is going down now, so he's like, sweet, time to drone forever, and unfortunately he's got supply blocks at 36, so after that's been sorted, he can drone forever. But this is a good opportunity just to go ahead and take the third base as he sends his drone out now. Going to claim that in the standard position, and Ein he's looking around the map, making sure there's nothing else going on. I think he's relatively safe in that there isn't in the assumption that there isn't anything going on, but it's good to double check. So maybe we could see a few of these links split off a bit better. But yeah, Rave is terrified of something coming with a second cannon, a full wall off behind this pylon as well. Yeah, that's
Well,
not quite a full wall off, but either way.
he can't build units until just now, so these cannons and whatever you can use to wall up at the front is all that's stopping this wave of Zerglings from knocking on the door and saying hello.
Yeah, hopefully Ein, once he sees this full wall off, he goes and starts working on the back rocks.
Oh, yeah, that's completely undefended.
I
There's
mean,
a gateway, but it's going to just provide vision.
yeah, and for the time being, that's all Rave needs to do with this gateway as he goes into the Twilight Council back here as well. Ein's position is fantastic this game.
Absolutely, and you're going to be able to take the third base for free on this map, which for any race is pretty difficult to at least hold on to for long without somebody providing some kind of counter aggression. But I do think Ein is a little tunnel visioned on the front, especially for Zerg. Going around to the back is much easier than for Protoss or Terran.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 4 Zerglings that can actually attack this rock anyway, but
Really?
you're only allowed to squeeze 4 of them on that. But that being said, I mean, Ein has plenty of lings at the front that he could have sent those 4 around there, so I guess, yeah, he's maybe just forgotten or hasn't used the rocks on this map very often for that kind of pressure. But he stopped droning at around 44, which is nice. He's gotten 3 gas geysers running and a few drones rallied towards his natural, or third base rather. And he's just pumping out roaches, he's got Zergling speeds, and he hasn't over-teched, which I do quite like. He's got enough to get the Overseer just in case, because, I mean, he sees the Twilight Council that isn't researching, so you'd assume Dark Shrine from that. But actually it's just a naked Twilight Council. Which I have no explanation for.
Anything? Well, there's nowhere that a Dark Shrine could be hidden. I mean, we know this because we can see the pylon placements, but yeah, there's nowhere to really sneak a Dark Shrine that's not going to be seen.
Base charge.
Interesting.
I see this occasionally from Root State on Varney Research Station exclusively with a warp prism. He warps them all into the natural and just like eviscerates the natural, and then transition. I saw it once from Root Estrella as well against some Zerg in, I believe, Challenger League, maybe Premier in round of 32. And he got owned.
So this is a root build.
If it's a build at all, yeah. I mean,
it started with a cranked cheese. So somebody watches a lot of streams, maybe.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. TLDR, I have no idea how this is going to play out for Rave. I've seen it, yeah, once. So, best of luck to you, Rave, because Ein is doubling your supply.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would like to see Ein kind of finish out connecting the creep between the natural and the third, and maybe spread a little bit more, kind of get vision surrounding your bases, especially since that third is just kind of That third, not third, is just kind of hanging out.
You're gonna get the forward before it finishes. Oh, that is so juicy behind. I hate that when it happens. It always seems to happen to me as well. Whenever I play Tang, he has a tendency just to kill my Evos when they're at 90% researching. It's dirty. So he does pop the overcharge there and denies the +1. So Ein's Lings are going to be infinitely more valuable to him as they'll tank 3 shots from those Zealots instead of 2. But again, he's a merciful god and is not attacking up his ice. I really think he could get a lot done here, but actually there's kind of the Great Wall of China here from Rave. I mean, you can walk all the way around it, but it's a really nice thing to shoot from behind.
Hey, found the rocks!
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Streams of purple coming across the map. There's like 40 roaches on the field. I need a 170 supply to 72 of Rave. We'll get force fielded out here, but I think on seeing that, you just grab Tunneling Claws.
True that, and there's only 2 sentries. Actually, that's not much of an army considering the Great Wall of Purple.
Yeah, Ein's going to come crashing into the natural here. Maybe force out a force field, but then he can just go off some... Or he's just going to... Okay, keep going. That works as well. If his Overseer gets sniped, then the DTs can prove a problem, but Ein does micro it back very smartly there. Keeps it out of the range of the Photon Overcharge, and this is incredibly grim for Rave.
Yeah, there is an Overseer somewhere. There was an Overseer somewhere.
It did get sniped off by the nice focus fire there from the Relentless captain, but...
These 3 TTs are going to have to take down an entire army and whatever Ein chooses to...
I mean, Ein is fully aware that there's DTs thrashing away at his army, but he's just killing everything anyway. I don't think he cares. I think he's somewhat warranted in not caring. He's just going to keep sniping pylons, snipe the robo, yeah, sure. Oh, there's 4 overseers showing. Okay, there we go.
And the DTs will get cleaned up, but actually, they did quite a bit of damage, in all things considered.
GG is called though, as Ein maintains the 100 supply difference, and we will go up 4-3 now, I believe.
That was the last stand of the DTs.
I think. Did I? I might have miscounted something.
It's 4-3.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you said it was 3-2? Or it's either 4-3 or 4-2.
That was set 6 though, so we can't be up 4-3. I've completely mathed wrong. 1, 2... It's 3-3 now.
3-3.
3-3. Yeah, it was 3-3, but I don't know. I must have hit the button wrong or something. It's now 3-3. There we go. So we have a glorified best of 3 to seal it out. So set 7 will be actually our first diamond match because we didn't have either of the other 2s. So low leagues are getting a lot of time in the limelight here, but this is going to be set 7, Zale versus Lazy Probes, a PVT on Deadwing.
Alright. And Lazy Probes is the Terran.
Yes.
Makes sense.
He's also an unorthodox Terran who likes the hammer build.
I know of the hammer build. I can't say I have partaken in it myself.
It is a proxy, not proxy, sometimes proxied Marine Marauder Widowmine Rush from like a... I think it's a gas first, but it's kind of like one of those cheeses, a more modern cheese, that if you don't know how to scout it and hold it, you kind of just auto-lose. But basically, if that doesn't kill, then it's like a 2-base mech follow-up. It's really weird.
Well, it sounds interesting. I wonder if that's what we will see, but we've got vertical spawns on Deadwing, and in the bottom right it is Zale, and in the top right it is Lazy Probes. And see, now I'm really paranoid about what players are which race and where they're spawning.
Maybe like he hopes that his opponent's probes are lazy for when the Widow Mines show up. Maybe that's what he's got going. I don't know. Maybe he once played Protoss and he got a name change after his probes got lazy and he was like, screw you guys, I will name my account after... I've got nothing. I don't know.
I don't know, if I was going to...
He also got those caps.
Caps?
Yeah, it's capital Z.
Oh, the alternating caps thing?
Kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of.
Oh well.
But Zale is actually SimCitying pretty close to the Nexus. It's not quite anti-Reaper, but it is a little bit of a wall.
Yeah, this is the more modern anti-Reaper build wall. There is a hole between the pylon and the gateway, but you can build a cybernetics core between the gas and the edge of the base there by that pipe thing. So if a Widowmine drop comes in, you can run the probes away through that hole. But you can put like a probe on hold position in there or something if you want to trap a Reaper or whatnot.
I'm trying to imagine running the probes through that little choke as a Widowmine drops, and I see a lot of probes die.
Yeah, you've got to be fast about... This is relying on the fact that you can spot the Widowmine drops coming before Acadian did.
This is very true.
So Zale has scouted appropriately, and he's seen, okay, you've walled off, which is unusual, to be quite honest. And that implies that, I mean, you want to hide something as Terran, right?
Sometimes you just don't want them to get in and see, because if they don't get knowledge, then ultimately that is better for you. They don't know what you're doing, and they can guess all day. So...
Yeah.
But it is going to be a factory, so we might be seeing Widow Mines, but that's a tech lab going down, so maybe this is your hammer build.
Yeah. This is the problem with being an overly stylistic player in the CTL, is if you don't hide your match history well enough, or you ladder too much playing how you would normally play, you can get scouted pretty easily, and I know Zale was fully aware that Lazy Probes likes a hammer build going into this, so he's already got the robo coming down before the second and third gateways, which is a little bit of a non-standard variation on things, but he's prepared.
So you push with the Marauders and the Widowmine, and you just...
Yeah. Originally it was 3 Marauders, 1 Widowmine, but it's been updated to include these 2 Marines just in case you get proxied.
Okay, and Concussion Shells has started. I don't... How does this work on this map? You'd think that the Protoss would have a little more time to prepare, and if they get a mothership core, they'd have overcharge, so it's not like you'd be able to get in the base.
Yeah, I don't know how it's supposed to work, but I know if you're the stereotypical Terran versus Protoss player, you might gravitate towards this build, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, if they're not going to scout it, then sure, it's free damage. But if, if Zale can get these Marines, there's nothing that shoots up. Yeah,
so actually a Stalker going down for free there, that's not so great for Zale, but I mean he doesn't take too much damage so far. He has the Immortal out, which is going to clean up these Marauders for free, and he uses the Mothership Core to tank the Widowmine so it doesn't go on the Immortal, so the Immortal keeps all the shields.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. That was intentional,
yeah. He can't do that again though, so he has to get this Observer over, but now the Observer's here, so this has been held pretty nicely, but there is a second Widowmine, but that's what the overcharge is for, so very smartly held.
Yeah, and with not too many units either. Mm-hmm. Immortals are going to keep being Chrono boosted out, so Lazy Probes can keep making Immortals, but they are just getting eaten alive.
Yeah, this one Widowmine might get up. No, he didn't quite get the shot off there. And Immortals are so cool. I'll miss the Hardened Shield.
Oh really? That's going away?
Yeah. They're removing... they're putting like an active, just press this button to get 100 shields at this time type ability, which is I can kind of see why they're doing it, but...
I think there are other things they can do to Protoss.
Oh, they're doing other things as well. So, yeah.
Other than more AoE in your mineral line. Sail's opting for Warp Prism. Get
yeah.
Immortal drop.
Yep, I believe so. He's going to get a lot of pressure on with those two Immortals. So meanwhile, behind this, Lazy Probes isn't opting for the mech follow-up, actually. He's got 3 barracks down, and he's opting for a bio follow-up here, but Zale is already ahead in supply. He's ahead 6 or 7 workers. His natural is fully saturated on minerals. And he might even just go ahead and take a 3rd Nexus here soon. Yeah, on the low ground even.
Might as well. Bio is kind of an odd follow-up to this, because with the bio play from Terran, you want to do standards, so anything like the Hellions, any kind of Hellion run by or Hellion drop or mine drops, it needs to get damage done to the Protoss, because if they don't, then any kind of bio push is going to be far later, and if the Protoss hasn't had anything to really slow them down, then they're going to have all their stuff out at the usual time, and you're going to be late.
Zale is... I think he's just assuming this is a mech follow-up. He's throwing down 2 Stargates, and they're kind of proxied as well.
Oh, Combat Shields is going to die.
Yeah... I wonder if... Is he just assuming this is a mech follow-up? I think he has to, but on seeing the Researching Tech Lab and the Marines here...
Now
Can that
they
trigger
don't.
you, maybe?
That
the
should be
Marauders? Yeah, he cancelled. Okay, I think he's now figured out that it is a bio play, and he cancelled the Stargates there.
Yep, throws down the Robo Bay and additional gateways, and the Twilight Council, but looks like there is a bio push that's coming out now,
Yeah.
so
Zale
Zale's
wasn't
going to
prepared.
need to defend this 3rd. The Warp Prism is still out as well, although no Immortals in it this time. It's just going to warp in and probably force some units back.
These Immortals need to be at home. There is going to be 2 Photon Overcharges available for Zale to defend this, but his army supply is lower here. He'll have to control pretty nicely. Nice kill on that Widow Mine. Gets a Marauder as well. Looks like he's going to be able to buy time for his Colossus to pop. Actually, he's only just started it now. He might lose his Nexus.
Yeah, this Nexus is
maybe
not going to die.
Overcommittal there for Lazy Probes. So, Units Lost tab is in favor of Zale.
All this crazy play, and only 1 worker has died this game.
Yeah, somehow. Lazy Probes managed to kill a probe, and I think that was probably the scouting probe. Or maybe it was a probe at the start somewhere.
Warp Prism is going to go back in for another round, and Zale's just going to defend this front.
Yeah, he whoops in 1 Zealot in the back just to get a bit of harassment, maybe, just to see what's going on. He sees, yep, you're going into bio. So he's preparing his own anti-bio Protoss instead of his anti-mech Protoss. They are actually 2 very different things. You are less familiar. You don't want those double Stargates if you're versus a bio Protoss for the most part. So Zale is going to be opting for the Blinkstalkers and the Colossus, but he only has 1 Colossus, and it doesn't have the range yet. It will have range in time, but this is actually a lot of bio coming across for Lazy Probes.
Yeah, it's a sizable army. Does Zale have energy? No, does not have energy yet for an overcharge. These Stalkers will have to come down, and the whole army will need to be participating in the upcoming engagement.
Yeah, this might get pretty scary for Zale. Is he aware of this? He is now. The bio stims into the natural and focuses on the Nexus. Will be pushed away here though. Just barely. Supplies are still pretty even. Yeah, I think Zale is just really paranoid about anything, like a double drop or a stim at the front landing on this 3rd Nexus though, because it's so weak. He is moving back his Stalkers at the most inopportune time. This is so unfortunate for Zale. The Colossus will get sniped out there. He moves all his stalkers into the main. He can blink them down to the low ground now, and he could overcharge this Nexus, but it will get sniped off. That is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but I think keeping the energy for the Mothership Core at least means you're not going to lose 2 Nexuses.
And he might clean this push up, maybe. There's an awful lot of Marauders, but no, the move command there from the Stalkers as well. This is a very heavily damaged force from Lazy Probes, but I think they're going to get a lot of damage done here.
They are, and there's no Colossus, no additional units. 1 Colossus is out on the field now, but this army's done its job.
Yeah, behind this Lazy Probes has got his 3rd working. He's throwing down some more production. Hasn't got any large tech follow-ups, so to speak. Just, I guess, some Vikings coming out. He's now starting his +2/+2, so... Yeah. This game... Bale's not out of it yet, by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he did have a lead, and now he's probably a little bit behind.
Trying to see, Zale has not thrown down the Templar Archives or teched up to Storm yet, but neither does Lazy Probe have the Ghost Academy down, and actually, there's only 3 gases for Lazy Probe at the moment, so it's going to be hard to get Vikings, Medevacs, Widow Mines, and eventually Ghosts, and that may save Zale a little bit for now. And he does have the 3rd base back up and running.
Yeah, saving grace for Zale actually is that Lazy Probes doesn't have any Medevacs, and he can't really afford to make any, like you've been saying, because he's only been on 3 gas for the majority of this game somehow. Not sure how he managed to afford everything, but it's gonna buy Zale a bit of time, I think. Either Lazy Probes waits for some Medevacs, or his push is gonna be quite all in here, because there's no way for him to heal or move around. It's just gonna be a straight push at the front.
Now, there are 4 Vikings, but there's quite a few Stalkers out on the map. I would like... Alright, the Templar Archives is now finishing up, but there won't be Storm in time for this fight. But if Lazy Probes throws away all the Vikings, then the Colossi can just go to work.
Yeah, that's 3 Vikings that have gone down so far. Zale is trying to fish for them, and Lazy Probes did stim his whole army there, and for the most part, this stim is going to go to waste. As half of the time. Oh no, I think the Blinking then was a little bit overzealous, as one of the Stalkers is derping on behind the other Stalker there, or one of the Colossus rather. That is unfortunate.
A lot of the Zealots are also going to die just as Charge is finishing up. Although it looks like Zale's. No, Zale's not going to push this back.
The overstim from Lazy Probes is real here, but I think he can probably snipe this Nexus again if he focuses it. Yeah, he's going to focus that one down. He's probably going to get this Colossus as well.
With no Medevacs, I think maybe force fielding the army off and just waiting for Charge might have been a little bit better of an engagement, but instead Lazy Probes is just kind of stim and kite.
Yeah, he's just stimming across and rallying at this stage. Like, he's double stimming his units to get across the map as fast as possible just to keep the pressure on. I think he smelled blood in the water, and rightfully so.
Oh, there's a single Colossus derping in the main. Bro.
Go on. Go on. I wonder how long that guy's been there for.
I do not know. Morphing in the Archons is good. I don't think Storm is going to come out anytime soon, and there are no Medevacs.
Still no Medevacs.
Three Medevacs. They just came out.
Yeah, they're flying across the map as we speak. I think this is going to spiral out of control for Zale. Wow, something fell on there. I think Lazy Probes is going to kite back as long as he wants, really. So many Marauders here.
Yeah, these Archons actually dying off pretty quick, and there's another naked Colossus. And that's going to be GG.
Yeah, that gives Relentless Heroes the 4-3 lead. Going into set 8. So, if Drinky, the gold Zerg, who was He might also have been recently promoted to Platinum as well. I know a lot of Fu Manchu's opponents have been promoted to Platinum like the week he's played them, so might have been another case for Fu Manchu. But either way, he's also won, I think, every map we put him out on except one, so
Not bad.
he doesn't seem to care that his opponents keep getting promoted. Hopefully for us, he can even up the score 4-4, and hopefully for Relentless, Drinky can take a nice win here.
I think TVZ is a good map for, or Overgrowth is a good map for TVZ. And I had a nice cup of tea before this cast too, and I'm still stumbling over my words like a moron.
At least it's not like 1 AM for you.
Ah, that is true. Fu Manchu is starting out with the good manner, the good luck, have fun, GG, and is spawning in the bottom left. And in the top right, we have the pink Zerg Drinky.
What a name. Simple name. So I think Fu Manchu, if I recall correctly, Galashika gave him a pretty nice 2-base timing to do with like Marauder. I think it was Marauder, Hellbats, and Banshees at like the 8-minute mark, I believe.
Doesn't Holt do something kind of like that? Or he used to do something that was Marauder Hellion heavy way back when.
Yeah, Polt loves his Marauder Hellion, Shalashika loves his Polt, so maybe putting 2 and 2 together, maybe it's a Polt thing.
Maybe.
We'll have to wait and see.
Because I remember, like, back when I first started playing StarCraft, there were kind of two styles. It was either Bomber's Marine Tank or Polt's Marauder Hellion.
Yeah. So, I mean, Polt still does that, actually. He did it quite a few times against Hydra during his eventual spoilers victory over Hydra. So, definitely a series to check out if you're inclined for that. And Drinky actually opting for the 14 pool here, so very safe opener, doesn't want to take any risks, anything dumb happen. Actually, he just wants to attack with the 14 gas going down as well. So this is unorthodox from Drinky. Maybe
So this is the
bust.
intentional 14-14 against Terran? Since our first game was the accidental 14-14.
I would assume so. Not sure. I mean, if Tang was here, he'd just say, yeah, you just throw down a Bailing Nest and then you go, and then write up a Team Liquid guide called a nice ZBT all-in. Which is what he actually did.
Oh.
Yeah, so doesn't look like it's necessarily completely all-in like Tang's build, as there is a second hatchery being built by Drinky, along with a queen.
It could be one of those hatcheries that's just for larvae.
It's a macro hatch that looks like a natural, but it's not. Yeah. We're going to have to see if Drinky wants to keep mining gas or just pull out at 100. It looks like he wants to keep mining gas.
Here we go. And speed starts right on schedule. And all the Terran is going to have for a little while is Reaper. So this Reaper needs to get in here and see this. And it looks like there is a drone queued up for the Baneling Nest.
Yeah. Alright. So this Reaper, it sees, okay, no 3 hatch before pool. No one really does that anymore because of the Reapers. And it will see that there is a natural hatchery, and it's going to go around the back past this Overlord looking for bunkers into the main, and it will be queued up. And he sees the gas, and the spawning pool, and the Baneling Nest. And he clicks on the Baneling Nest. So Fu Manchu has every bit of information he needs to identify what this is.
And units are going to be queued up. You're going to need to keep building units, and bunkers need to go up
ASAP.
Yesterday.
Yep. I would probably suggest in this situation Fu Manchu wants to lift off on the barracks. And yeah, you have time in this situation to swap over and get double Hellions out. Lift up into the main. But I'm not sure whether he's necessarily identified what's going on correctly.
He's going up to Banshee, but Banshees are not going to be out in time, and trying to wall up at the front, it's too late. Those units are on the way. The command center, if you want to keep it alive, needs to be en route nowish back to the main base. And why are these Marines scouting inside?
Yeah, I mean, I think Fu is just going about his build order right now. He's saying, okay, I want to deny scouting of this, of what I'm doing, because he's doing a pretty unusual build himself. But Drinky already has the Banelings done.
The banelings are here. They're at your front door.
Yep.
They're saying hi right now. And you have 2 Hellions and 2 Marines, and the door is open.
I've got a serious sense of deja vu here, Jester.
Oh dear. And alright, well, that 1 Hellion did not take out nearly as many banelings as it needed to, but oh god, that hurt a lot.
Humanity and
It's just death and destruction from here on out. Yeah, Drinky is in, and that is a very quick GG.
yeah. Well, that will secure the win for Relentless Heroes, so congrats to you guys, good luck in the finals.
21 SCVs died in that. That's pretty much everything you had.
Yeah, so we have me versus Barcode. Going to be played last, just for lulz, I guess. At this stage, map score doesn't matter. So, yeah, let's see how well I do.
So this is where you just do all the really, really crazy builds?
Interestingly enough, I actually played this Monday night. This was the first game. I was the first game, yeah. Because we don't play these in order, so... yeah. Anyway.
So.
Me time. First map is Inferno Pools, then the winner gets to... veto a map. The loser can't pick, and then the loser picks.
What do you think about CVZ on this map? We have
VVZ on this map. I just don't like this map.
Well, we have vertical spawns, so it's a small consolation, but you are spawning in the bottom left. That is left, yes. And Barcode is spawning in the top left.
Yep.
So what don't you like about this map?
You can spawn anywhere. It's icky. If you want to be, play into that spawn RNG for ZVZ even more so, you can do, kind of what Pisosa did to me for my CSL game, which is like a 13-12 one-base mass speedling baneling, which is also what I did to Roxas in the CSL previously, so you can play into that. That's a really nice build for this map. Or you can, again, go the other way and just throw down the hatch first and hope that your opponent won't 9-pool and go for the third chance that you can scout first and counter that. Is a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I just opt for the 14-pool. And Barcode is going to go for the hatch first.
So it's not like in the old days where ZVZ completely mirrored for the first 5 minutes.
At our level, no, it's not normally. Pro level, yeah, it's probably going to be mirrored. So Overlord's going to come in for me and see. Oh, you've gone hatch first. Okay. And if I had an inner voice telling me to 9-pool, which I do have quite often, I would be frustrated here. Because I did scout a bit for Barcode's match history, and every game I saw ZVZ was like hatch first, and then a lot of Ling Bane stuff. So, yeah, we will see how this game goes. So, both players getting the pool and the hatch and the gas.
Well, I guess on this map, if you 9-pool, there's kind of you've got 2 out of 3 possibilities that it'll work out okay for you, and one where they might slightly have a little more time to prepare.
Yeah. We'll see. At this stage, is there going to be a gentleman's agreement this game that both players are going to make 2 safety banelings and then continue about their business, or is someone going to arbitrarily decide, I will make 19 to 27 drones this game and then just rally speedlings and banelings, or up to each player to scout what's going on. So Barcode has actually sent this Overlord in a little bit too deep on his side, my side.
Yep, Queen's picking away at it. Oh, it's going to get the kill.
Yeah. So 4 lings being rallied out for Barcode there to go across the map. Normally you see 2, not sure why he wants to comes in here. You see 3 guys on gas and Zergling speed. Didn't get to see anything hatching from any eggs, so that's pretty scary. I don't know if he's making Zerglings or drones, so I opt for a round of Zerglings myself here, just to see what's up.
It seems like you are the first to break the gentleman's agreement as you keep making lings. Although Barcode does throw down the baneling nest just a little bit earlier, but I don't think it's going to be a significant difference because you have more lings.
Yeah, so I'm going to chase him back across the map with these lings, and I'm going to start droning behind this. Not sure if it's in-game, it's definitely a risk to start droning behind this a lot. Maybe a little bit is okay, but I still don't know whether he's pooling Zerglings back at home or not, so if I'm not building Zerglings right now, it's a little bit of a risk. And as I come in and see, oh, you actually have a lot of lings here, okay, I just sort of have to turn around and go home, really.
And them green banelings.
Yeah, they're pretty luminous.
We're just gonna kind of skirmish here at the front.
Yeah. Oh wow, I could have nearly killed all those lings. That's annoying.
It's kind of that one red health baneling threatens an entire wave of lings.
Oh yeah. So unfortunately for me, I have decided to drone up a lot more than the Barcode has. Barcode has 2 drones on his natural and is rallying lings and banelings across for what looks to be eternity. I decided naively to fully saturate my natural, so he has 28 extra Zerglings than I do.
And a lot more banelings strolling in, although... Ooh! Those were some good hits, though. Although, likewise...
Yeah, I'm just going to keep the units tab up, because we don't really need to see the production that much here, as lings and banelings are going to come marching in for Barcode. Going straight for my mineral line. How many drones do these guys kill? 5 going down there. 1 baneling, where's it going? Okay, it will get killed off there. So, losing 5 drones, it's... I mean, the supplies are still even, and I'm still having an income lead. So, gotta keep holding!
More lings are on the way, though, so the gentleman's agreement is completely off the table. And, oh, that killed everything.
Yeah, sometimes in ZVZ, Ling Baneling Micro, just sometimes everything kind of dies, and you just have to live with that. There's... Barcode now has 30 lings out to my 14, which are just now hatching, but going to be losing some more drones here in this defense, as the drone count is now evened out.
And Barcode is continuing to build lings, so we have a macro hatch at the natural.
Yeah. Sometimes in ZVZ, it's a player decides, I'm just going to roll 3 dice and that's my drone count for the game. Not saying that's a bad thing, I do that a lot as well. But sometimes that's just a thing that happens, so... We now both have 22 drones, and I actually have survived having a lot... I survived with that drone lead and didn't die instantly. So it's now just a case of who can micro better from here on out. But I don't have any banelings pre-prepared for this push yet, so... Gotta wait for those banelings to hatch.
And I guess Barcode's not exactly giving you time to get a spine crawler up unless you stuck it way behind the mineral line or something, or maybe in your main as kind of a last resort.
Still a case if whoever gets a favourable fight here, I think, because 3 Banelings will trade for 3 there, but Barcode has an extra 2 Banelings coming in, and I don't think there's enough links here for me to clean up. No, because Barcode will take this engagement once again. I do actually have quite a lot of queens, but I, for some reason, decided now's the time to build another round of drones, so I actually have 3 lings and 2 Banelings out on the map.
And these banelings are going to come in. 8 workers killed, and these queens are fighting valiantly at the ramp.
They are holding as hard as they can. 2 more queens coming down, and looks like I will be able to hold again, kind of. Maybe? Tricky to say.
These banelings just kind of being snuck out in the corner as the lings are very tunnel visioned on getting up this ramp. Another queen does get out, and a spine crawler is allowed to complete. But the micro wars continue, and the drones are actually going to get cleaned up at the natural.
Again. Yeah, I'm now down to 17 drones. There have been 26 workers have been killed so far this game, so...
And it looks like Barcode is still not droning. It is just all lings.
Yeah, for the record, some players, like, I don't know, most players, Zerg players, could be maxed out as we are reaching the 13-minute mark of this ZVZ. Yeah, this is why whenever I'm teaching ZVZ, I try not to give, like, supply counts of, oh, you can transition at this supply, you can transition at this time, because sometimes it's just, when you're safe, you can transition. And you kind of have to feel it out, because sometimes a player will just decide they want to attack you. As I'm now going down to 7 drones, 2 queens. Fighting it out valiantly, because why the hell not?
And this is not a game of drones.
Yeah, so 38 drones have been killed by Barcode this game. A lot of drones. Alright.
I guess this is what happens when you break the gentleman's agreement.
Drones, yeah, it's it's grim. Yeah, having played Terran vs Terran and Zerg vs Zerg, I like Zerg vs Zerg more, but I wouldn't mind dodging that part of ZVZ. Yeah. Alright, so map 2, I chose Catalina for my map.
Oh, my camera froze again.
Yeah, it did.
I'm just gonna turn it off.
Okay. Right.
I'm about to put a really bad joke in chat.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
I think we'll just kick you now and be done with it. That's over, guys.
Yep. It's gonna be a solo cast from here on out. But here we are on Catalina, spawning in the top position of the 3-player map. It is the Barcode, and Stark is spawning on the left side at whatever clock position he designates.
That's obviously 9 o'clock, I mean...
Oh, okay, obviously 9
Unless you
o'clock.
have a backwards clock and then it's 3 o'clock.
What if it's an upside down clock?
Then, I mean, I guess it's 6 o'clock. Or E o'clock.
So, are we gonna get a gentleman's agreement this time?
No.
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 No honor amongst drones?
No. ZVZ, Jester. I don't know what you expect. You only get gentlemen's agreements in Pro League because they know that the other player's micro is good enough that they're only going to break even in Ling Baning, so they just don't bother. Not down here where our micro sucks. So I will opt for the 9 pool here, and I will send my Overlord to the main, because Name told me to send the Overlord to the main, so you can see what's up on this map. Then told me to send it to the natural, and didn't really give a good reason, so...
Well...
I also, when I was playing Sim on this map, I sent my Overlord to the natural 6 times in a row, on 6 consecutive Catalina games, and he didn't spawn there 6 times in a row, so I mean... Sending it to the main. Good. And it's going to be a 9 pool against a hatch first, which is kind of like the rock to his scissors.
And what we have learned from this is that Sin gives bad advice.
No, I think it's just that I'm butthurt. I'll admit it. I'm still salty over those 6 games where he told me, "Oh, send the Overlord here," and it didn't work. So Barcode is going to see the Zerglings rallied across, and I mean it's perfectly holdable. You just need to pull around 12 or so drones.
Barcode opts for the cancel, so I guess that's damage done.
I'd say that's a mistake, to be quite honest. I mean, this is Diamond League, so I can be critical. If you want to cancel it, fine, but at least let me decide to attack it and waste time attacking it first before you cancel it. That will buy a lot of time there. So now he's kind of just gone back to one base situation here, but I have these 10 lings to be obnoxious, and I'm building a natural back at home, so I kind of assume the defensive role from here on out in this game, because he has the gas that's mining and I don't. So his Zergling speed is going to be faster than mine, and I have the second base and he doesn't, so I kind of have to defend from here.
Millings will come out. Drones are pulled. Only one worker has died so far, and
Some nice control so far from Barcode. Admittedly, I would have liked to have seen him attempt to hold the natural. It's certainly possible. It's just a bit tricky and requires some micro, but yeah, maybe he hasn't been in this situation very often. Maybe this is his chosen way of countering. Just putting on some heavy one-base pressure.
and the Overlord, when it did scout, it saw that you were expanding behind this, so it's not going to be a heavy committal to the 9 pool, and that you didn't have any gas at the time.
The transitions from the 9 pool is either 18 hatchery or 18 gas, depending on whether you want to continue the aggression or transition. And I opted to transition towards the macro game, and I probably should have gone for the gas here, just to try and match what Barcode was doing, but he is throwing down his own hatchery himself. But once again, we see him having the Zergling speed, and he's still got 3 in gas, so it's probably going to be a Baning Nest follow-up, and something similar to what happened last game.
So, glorified macro hatch?
Maybe.
Maybe. You're making an additional queen? It looks like, yeah, the 3rd queen. No Baneling Nest yet.
No, I can't quite afford one yet, but I have opted for the 2 guys in gas. I don't think you need 3 guys in gas for Baneling pressure, or production rather, should I say, in early game ZVZ, because you just mine too much gas. You just need the 2 in gas, that's fine for the most part. And yeah, will be some more lings in production for Barcode, so I think he's just going to put on a lot of pressure here. He's even walling off the ramp here with some lings and a queen, so he really wants to hide that these lings that are chasing my lings, he really wants to hide that there's even more lings up there, but he's just going to run past the Overlord anyway, so...
Why did he bring all of the lings home? Was it just kind of a fake out?
I don't know, to be quite honest.
This time you've opted for the 2 Spinecrawler defense, though, and since Barcode did go all the way back home, it gives you a little more prep time than the last time, where it was just kind of a steady stream of green.
Yeah. So the first Spinecrawler sadly gets popped before I could transfuse it, but the second Spinecrawler, I get a transfuse off on that, and that does tank 4 Banings quite nicely, so... Going okay so far, but my Baning there still hasn't been finished yet, so I would quite like to finish that. Something to note is also I have this Overlord back in Barcode's natural, and I see he literally has no drones mining from his naturals, so once again it's a glorified macro hatchery.
Yep, you've got pretty good Overlord placement. You can see that there's no drones, you can see when these waves of lings stream across the map, and as they're about to run in.
Yeah. Something I haven't actually practiced yet, I'll be brutally honest, for my ZVZ, is I haven't actually practiced Ling Baning micro, so... not very good at that yet. I used to be reasonable, back when I was a wee whippersnapper.
This Ling is bravely striking out on the map, and even though the Lings keep coming, yours kind of ventured forth.
Yeah, you've got to be quite liberal about changing whether you're the attacker or defender in Ling Baneling's EVZ. If you suddenly find yourself, oh, I have a ton of Ling Baneling, either it's because like he's got supply blocks and you didn't miss an inject wave, or maybe he's droning. But if you just have more Lings, you should just go and attack with those more Lings and just suddenly become the attacker instead of the defender. So, gotta be conscious of those changes, I think.
And now there's quite a few banelings at the front, and they're going to get... Oh!
Yeah, nice trade there for Barcode, 2 for 4.
And these banelings are really searching for some hits.
Yeah, I got a 2 for 3 there. It takes 2 banelings to kill a baneling, or all surrounding banelings, so... This is,
The brave little baneling.
Go, baneling, go!
It wants these banelings.
It's not going to get them. It is unfortunate.
But this is quite a defense at the front.
Yeah, and I actually found the time to throw in a few drones as well, so I have around a 9 drone mining lead. I have quite a lot of queens. I have 3 queens with a 4th in production as well. So this has gone a lot nicer than the Inferno Ghouls game so far.
And you see that he's still opting to not mine, so maybe Barcode's a bit of a one-trick pony?
Maybe. I mean, like I said originally, I had scouted him going hatch first in every ZVZ I saw in his match history on both accounts, and doing a lot of Ling Baning pressure, so... Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no sign of lair, upgrades, roaches, it's just... I mean, the second gas being taken now, but for all you know, that could just be for more banelings.
Yeah, he just seems to have kind of given up, and he's like, okay, time to drone. I guess he's opting for like a light contain, but I've got a 25 supply lead during all of this, and I'm gonna counter-attack now with these groups of Zerglings, and remembered I have all of these other Zerglings as well. Time to run those across the map as well, and now time for me to attack.
You got a 3rd spine crawler too, so you are being incredibly safe.
Yeah, it's 50 Lings and a few Banelings now, but I've, decided to run a few of my Lings into his Banelings quite generously. But I still have a pretty nice advantage here, I just need to be careful of his Banelings. Yeah.
Oh!
So, I have no Zerglings on the map.
And these banelings got a
a
bit of an exposed walk, we'll put it. Yeah, they're walking through the bad part of town at 2 in the morning,
But
waving their cash around.
Please don't kill me.
Waving cash around. Well, you've already got the creep spread kind of preemptively spread all the way to a 3rd.
Yeah, I think that's something that's nice to have in ZVZ, is spreading your creep towards your 3rd. If you're against a player who might go Mutalisks, it's nice to have that spread out there, so you can have the Spore Crawler set up to defend the hatchery before the creep is coming out from the hatchery. Otherwise it's really tricky to hold a 3rd against Mutas if a player wants to go Mutas. So this is the, we both decided, okay, now we're safe, let's transition around again, like the 12 to 13 minute mark. Sometimes, for reference, this is around the 6 to 7 minute mark. It really depends if someone wants to attack or not.
It looks like Barcode's opting for the lair, whereas you threw down 2 Evos and a Roach Warren, and I don't think you've started the lair yet, so you're just gonna morph Roaches and go, whereas they're gonna have a Spire in some stage of completion.
Yeah, so these spine crawlers at the front are buying time, because you can kind of do a ZBTF Roach Baneling all in against a Spire player, and then kind of the mutas that pop can't really kill the Roaches in time to stop them killing everything, once you get through the first lines of defense. So this is why Barcode is not skimping on the defense of his front, adding another set of spine crawlers here. As he sees me with his very nicely placed Overlord here, that he sees, oh, you've got a Roach Warren and a couple of Evos? Okay, I've got to be ready for this. And he sees that I have Roaches out on the map as well. But he also sees that they're positioned defensively by a potential 3rd base, which I am taking.
So, he could think that you're just defending against more Ling Bane aggression, but... Did you see the Spire at all? Or was the Overlord moved out?
This Overlord that I have flying in right now, yeah, I've seen a Spire. I've also seen this one Evolution Chamber, so I'm wondering if he's going to transition back into Roaches, because something that a Muta player might do is transition back into roaches off of, say, 10 meters or so. But he's actually opting for this heavily upgraded Ling Bailing this game. He'll be grabbing the melee upgrades, which I'm not really sure I have an opinion on necessarily, but it's a style.
And getting the +1 for mutas and tech, and spores are going down, growing everywhere.
Yeah. It's tricky to know how many spores you'll need against a mutalist player, because some, like I said, will just make the 8 to 10, and then they will transition off into roaches, and try and use the mutas to kill one third base while they secure their own third base, and just have more production for more roaches later on. Some will make 10 mutas and hide another 20 mutas, and then suddenly say, surprise, I've now got 30 mutas, and you've skimped on anti-air, and you kind of die. Some will rush Broodlords off of 10. Some will just continue adding them. So, at the very least, you want to build 1 or 2 spores per base, and then just try and add more as you see what's going on. But Barcode is being really aggressive here with these mutas. He's looking around, finding opportunities to apply pressure. He's found this exposed gas geyser right in the back of my base here, and even at the cost of a few mutas, he's willing to dive on that, getting a queen for his trouble as well.
Bunch of overlords about to pop. Oh yeah, you were pretty much supply blocked today for a bit, and now we're gonna throw down an extra spore to help with the dive bombing of the mutas.
Yeah. But during all of this, I mean, Barcode hasn't decided to saturate his third base yet. He's only just now adding a few drones to it. So again, it's like he's 2 bases with a macro hatch once again. But he will be adding a few drones to that now. Meanwhile, I've actually got quite a nice army of roaches on the ground. So I'll be able to handle most of his zerglings. It's just a case of how do I handle his music.
The answer to that is more spores and hydras.
Yeah, a couple of queens coming out as well. I'll be going up to 8 queens. So far. I might build more, I don't remember.
All these roaches trying to crowd around this one spore crawler.
Yeah, this is like, really awkward with these roaches, because you're not really sure if you want to move out in pressure, because as soon as you do move out in pressure, the mutas are just going to tail behind you, so you feel like you really have to guard your roaches. It's strange.
I mean, these queens have to kind of, in combination with the spore crawler, be your anti-air until you can get enough hydras out to send the mutas back home.
Yeah. But I will take a pretty nice supply lead here, as I'm mostly building roaches and queens and hydras, which are pretty supply intensive, and Barcode is building mostly lings and banelings and mutas. So he's actually going to opt to go on the offensive here with his lings and banelings. They've gotten 1-1, so they're pretty nicely upgraded here, and he will try to breach this natural.
And he's going to walk right into hydras, which may not be the best wall, but it is a wall, and then the lings are just going to crash into roaches and queens.
Yeah.
And that's a large army. It's 171 to 110 supply, and these mutas, they might hold off for a little bit, but once the anti-air shows up with the roaches, it's going to kind of crash into this third, and yep, the drones are already evacuating.
Yeah, I assumed this was going to be his 4th base, actually. Hence why it was empty and unmined from.
It does kind of look that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I set up a few more creep tumors just to make sure my queens have mobility, and then keep going, see what's up. I know that he's probably going to have speed banelings somewhere. I would assume speed banelings at least.
That is a lot of banelings, but that's also a lot of roaches.
Yeah, and they don't have speed either, so he's got to really push through for those hits on the hydras, and he does get most of the hydras, so his mutas will be able to clean up here, eventually.
But that was a lot of gas that was burned in banelings. That, I don't know, maybe it should have gone towards saving from mutas? Maybe?
Mm-hmm. But this one hydralist does get to his back third base, which I thought would be his third base, but I realized, oh, you're on 2 bases, unless you have like a hidden third. So I actually felt okay about that trade after that.
And because he didn't mine from the natural so long, the main is mined out, so it's more like a base, or half a base.
Yeah, so I venture out a little bit with these hydras, but then I think I turn around at some point, because speed banelings are scary. Scary versus hydras, gotta get some units to defend against those. Hopefully I get some infestors soon and just fungal them.
But speed, Well, it's only just now starting, so there won't be speed bendings for a little while yet. The infestation pit does go down, so we can get infestors out, which will be good against the speed banelings when they do show up. And the mutas, they kind of have to buy time for Barcode to do anything or really transition, because otherwise it's just going to be a 2-2 Roach Hydra wall.
Yeah, he is now getting his own baneling speeds, so I think that's probably a mistake getting it this late, to be honest. I mean, it's not like he's been having gas issues with the amount of mutas and banelings he's been making, so it would have been nice to see that a little bit earlier from him this game. But he's still putting on pretty heavy pressure with these mutas, and they're still really annoying. Even though I have arguably enough anti-air, I'm not mobile enough.
And of course there's a cancel on the 4th. I wonder what would have happened if you had gotten the burrow movement or something, given that the muta presence is out there. If you just burrowed roaches and just kind of sent them around to be annoying.
Yeah.
There's no spores up anywhere on Barcode's side.
That's the more modern Korean way of doing ZBZ, is you just kind of go roaches, only roaches, and then you get burrow and burrow move and harass with those. Adding maybe hydras or infestors if you're against a muta player. So that's certainly something I probably could have tried this game, but I don't think I do it, and banelings will come rolling in here.
A lot of banelings.
But my splits are still somewhat reasonable, as I kind of remember how to play Terran as well. But he did get all of the hydras, which is all that matters, really. The fact that my roaches stayed alive is nice, but again, I have no anti-air, which is
They
awkward.
retreat back to the safety of spore crawlers. We've got fungal being researched and 3 infestors about to pop. It's always kind of nice to see infestors.
Yeah, they weren't removed actually in Heart of the Swarm from Wings of Liberty. They are a unit, much like the siege tank. They do still exist, so it's nice to see them from time to time. So I've got these lings going out on a bit of a harass just to see what I can get done. Try and threaten his 4th base. I know I'm taking my 4th base, so he's probably taking his 4th base as well, as it's a mirror match. So just try and threaten that. See what I can get done. Even though his Zerglings are better than mine.
Although it looks like you will be at least able to force a cancel, maybe? Yep. Oh, no cancel at all. So, even though all these lings die, that still puts Barcode back on 1 functional base.
Yeah.
Because the natural at this point is almost gone as well, and the main is completely mined out. So, Barcode does need to get some kind of economy, because he's broke.
Yeah, and the only base I haven't checked actually for an expansion from Barcode is the 12 o'clock, so at this stage I'm feeling relatively comfortable that I'm sat on 4 bases. I'm droning up my 4th a little bit, moving a few from my main over, or actually I guess I already done that because it's mined out.
Is that 12 o'clock? It kind of looks more like 11 and a half.
Okay.
11:30.
Right, fine.
But, the spores are everywhere, and they're... I don't know, I think when they go mutas like this, generally don't you see a bigger mutable?
Sometimes.
A relatively moderate mutable.
I mean, in this matchup, mutas are strictly harassment units for the most part, unless you're both building mutas. So they really drop off in value, especially once you get to, like, the kind of army that I have here.
Ooh, although that fungal will be nice. And
Yeah.
that will be a chain fungal to the death. And there are 2 mutas that'll survive that. Although, maybe not suiciding them into Zerglings and Benlings.
Yeah, I mean, all the infestors did die there, but at the cost of everything from Barcode.
Yeah.
He's got a few mutas left, so even though he's only got a few mutas, I literally see, well, I chain fungaled your muta cloud, so now is the time to counter-attack. Even if these roaches are on a clock from the mutas, he has, I think, 4.
And given the state of his economy, it's not like, even if they do replenish mutas, it's going to be the 4 of Roach Fall, even if some of them are at orange health.
Yeah.
So these are just going to kind of barrel through and get whatever damage done. What does Barcode actually have? Well,
Nothing.
A GG.
Yeah.
6 lings, 8 mutas, and 2 queens.
Alright.
It is 1-1.
It is 1-1. And he picks Funny Research Station for the final map.
It's a pretty honorable standard map. It'll probably become the next Overgrowth. Except
Maybe.
I can actually play on this one, and I don't feel like vetoing it.
Yeah, so let's load on up.
Oh, you can't see my grumpy face. I didn't think I was that grumpy. Maybe just a little bit.
So, Barney Research Station.
It's become kind of the standard go-to map, and I mean every once in a while, when there's a map pool, there's kind of one map that nobody really complains about, and I think Vonnie has kind of struck gold this time in being the nice safe app for everybody in all matchups.
Kind of.
But to kick this game off, Barcode is spawning in the bottom, and you are spawning in the top. Now, do you have, for Vonnie Research Station, do you prefer spawning in one location versus the other?
Bottom.
Bottom?
Bottom for ZVZ, yep. As I'm casually six-pooling.
Well,
Yeah. I figured he has gone hatch first every single game I've ever seen. So, in ZVZ.
so you're going to go full Jade on in
Yeah.
game 3.
Yeah.
Alright, well, the power of the Tyrant compels you.
Yeah, so basically we're just waiting to see whether Barcode is gonna opt for the 15 hatch again or the 15 pool. And if he opts for the 15 pool, whether he decides to play like Roxas and lose, or play like Pisosa and win.
And for the uninitiated, what would those styles be?
Lose everything in panic, or just build a queen and some lings and A move. So Barcode is playing.
Actually going to scout with the drone, in addition to the
Yeah. Then there's the 15 pool. So I still can't understand the point. And I showed this replay to Name as well, and he can't. The point of a drone scout in ZVZ is you want to arrive in your opponent's base in time to react to whether they've gone hatch first or pool first, and whether you can then go hatch first or pool first. And this drone scout wouldn't have arrived in time for anything, so...
Except it arrived into a wave of Zerglings.
Oh
and
yeah,
a
it arrived perfectly
complete
for
drone
that.
pool. So, it's
Yeah.
basically sounding the panic alarm. And
Yeah, at this
Barcode
stage, it's... I don't know.
Well, he's not going to expand now,
No,
but
he's just
there's
gonna-
really no sign of panic because there's not much you can do until the pool
Yeah.
finishes.
I get a little bit of a saving grace if he spawned on top, because his Zerglings and Queens wouldn't spawn in the drone line. But if I want to try and surround his eggs, then I have to take a massive risk and get surrounded by his drones.
I see.
So... see how
Is
this
there
goes.
any way you could have saved maybe for a spine crawler?
Yeah, some people will. But to be honest, after his drone just leaves, or after his drone sees me, I don't know if I should just leave the drones at home and try and macro off of it, or not. It's real strange.
Not sure what's happening. Oh,
Everything
it
kind of
comes out.
does.
Everything died.
So yeah, there we go. I think that spells the end of me six pooling on Barney Research.
It was a nice experiment.
Yeah, I won once on ladder, I beat Roxas, and then I lost to Pisosa and Barcode guy, and I might have done it to someone else and lost. I think Name beat it, he A moved, and yeah, it was well played by him. So that will give the, I believe, 6-3 to Relentless Heroes. So in the other match it was Unrivaled versus CT6, and everyone assumed Unrivaled would go to the finals, and CT6 went to the finals, so we'll be playing Unrivaled in the 3rd, 4th place match this week, and I think a lot of people had predicted that actually that would be the finals, so well played by Relentless Heroes and CT6 for proving most people wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a little bit of a rivalry between us and Unrivaled, or at least maybe between our captains. Our particularly noisy and prone to shitposting captains.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Sin likes to pick fights.
yeah, Padula has already said that they don't care about the 3rd, 4th place match anyway, so they haven't even sent their best players out, so I guess that says it all, really.
Well,
Make
good
of
luck
that
to
what we will.
everybody in all of their finals, be it the 1st, 2nd, or the third place match.
Is it bad if I'm cheering for CD6?
I don't pay enough attention to CTO politics to know if that's bad. It might be bad. It's not polling for us.
Well, we're not in the finals, so that's alright.
I know.
Surely. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I guess so. I guess you gotta. It's kind of like when the Super Bowl, or I guess maybe for you guys the World Cup. You gotta kind of pick somebody.
Yeah, it's kind of like for us, if I don't know, it's like France versus
Germany?
Scotland or Germany, and we're
Yeah,